Welcome back, everyone. Well, we know Houston's debate over how local police interact with ICE has been sparking pushback from a lot of different directions. So questions grow over how a new city ordinance could impact officers on the ground who work with us daily to protect and serve. So we wanted to go to the heart of who the officers talk to and the officers themselves. So I'm so honored to be joined by Douglas Griffin. He's president of the Houston Police Officers Union. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you also to all of the police officers who protect and serve on a daily basis in this community. They work hard. We know they don't get the appreciation they deserve, but thank you so much for what you do, and you're representing them as well.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very blessed to be in this position. You know, I'm a firm believer, good Lord put you where he wants you when he wants you there. And so I'm really blessed to represent the officers of this department. I'm native Houstonian, and I've been with the department for over 35 years and just blessed to be here.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's go into the ordinance. Initially, the city of Houston passed a ordinance in which it determined how police officers would interact with ICE when it comes to the stops that they would make, how long of a duration of time that they would stay there until an ICE officer came, and all of that. So let's go back to the beginning when the ordinance was first put in place before the changes that happened several weeks later.
Yes, ma'am.
Beginning of this month. So when you first heard the portion of the ordinance which would say that you don't have to wait the 30 minutes for an ICE officer to arrive, what did your fellow police officers and the union have to say about that?
Well, they were confused because we've had the same policy for over 30 years.
Which is?
If you found someone that had an outstanding warrant from Customs Enforcement, we would treat them just like any other warrant, which means back years ago, we would transport them to the jail. They would have an ICE detainer. They would come and pick them up from the jail. From the jail, not
Correct. Waiting for them. Okay.
Correct. Years later, that changed, and we really don't run into it very often. I think I've seen it once or twice in my entire career. But again, we would have to wait for someone to come pick them up. They didn't want us to transport anyone that had an ICE detainer.
So you're saying that you had to wait for them to pick somebody up at the location you were at and no longer at the police departments?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That changed several years ago.
Okay.
But again, we just didn't see it very often. Then when Trump got in office and changed it to where they put 700,000 more warrants into the system, it changed. We saw a few more. Again, last year we saw a grand total of out of almost 2 million contacts with citizens, we only saw a little over 150 incidents where someone had this warrant. Out of that, we made calls to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and then they come and picked up 74 of them and asked us to release 98 of them.
Okay.
Just document the information, where they live, stuff like that, so they could talk to them later.
Okay.
Again, it's my opinion that we were just getting those that had some type of an arrest record in the past that were getting deported. Because again, they said they were going after the worst of the worst.
Okay.
We do not know what these warrants are for. They keep talking about administrative warrants.
Okay.
Well, you won't know what that warrant is for until you make the call. And then you still they don't have to tell you what it's for. They say there's a detainer on them, so we have to turn them over.
Okay, and that's how the process works that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, my question that a lot of people had, especially with the ordinance, it was stating that officers were having to wait longer than 30 minutes. Some cases, reports had some were waiting 2 hours, which means that when it comes to law enforcement, they weren't able to go to their next emergency call. Is that what you were hearing from fellow police officers, that it was taking longer for that to happen? Which is causing
ma'am.
Problems, okay?
We did not hear any complaints about that.
Okay.
That was more of a city council issue. Hey, you can't hold them longer than a normal traffic stop because it's an administrative warrant. Well, that's not actually accurate. There's plenty of Supreme Court rulings and appeals court rulings saying that we can hold them as long as necessary to complete the mission, which if there's a reasonable suspicion that there's something going on, i.e. a warrant, then we can wait as long as we need to. What's reasonable?
But what if there's not a suspicion of something like that?
But if they show a warrant, that's reasonable suspicion.
Okay, all right.
So it would be just like you know, they talk about administrative warrants. Parole violations, people that were on parole and they're violated, those are administrative warrants. They're signed off by the parole board.
Okay.
So there's other administrative warrants out there that we have to deal with, and we just want to treat everything the same. Because our contention is, if something happens and I make a stop, and they have a warrant, and I disregard that warrant and let them go, and something happens tomorrow, they rob somebody, rape somebody, a homicide takes place.
Then the officer
They're
who
coming
initially
back
had
to
them,
us
yes.
and say, you just had them in your custody yesterday. We've seen this before happen, and we
Okay.
don't want our officers in that position.
So now what is the policy based on, because now the ordinance is slightly changed because the governor got involved and said that what Houston did was not acceptable and it violated something that the state was dealing with right now. So now that it's changed, what will officers do? What is the requirement of officers at this point? So citizens will know.
Yes. What happens if I stop someone, and understand this is very rare that this happens. If I stop someone and they have an outstanding warrant from Customs Enforcement, I have to call a supervisor to the scene. We make the phone call to ICE, and they have a reasonable amount of time to come pick them up. Now understand, reasonable amount of time is determined upon time of day, location. I mean, reasonable amount of time at 5 o'clock on the Katy Freeway is going to be a lot different than 10 o'clock
true.
at night downtown.
So true.
So,
Except for dealing with construction, but that's a whole different thing.
amen, that's everywhere. So again, we have a reasonable amount of time, just like we would any other warrant. If I call Fort Bend County and they have a warrant for someone, I can drop them off at the jail. I can't do that with an ICE detainer. I have to wait on scene.
Now, I do have a question, and please explain to me and to the audience, if there is not a warrant, but you are getting somebody's driver's license, do law enforcement have the right to ask somebody they pull over if they are a legal immigrant or not?
We can ask, but it doesn't matter. There's nothing we can do about it.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
No.
Okay.
That's what I want the Hispanic community to understand as well. We're not out there looking for this. Just because we stop you and you're undocumented doesn't mean we're contacting ICE. We're only contacting ICE on those that have a warrant. They show a warrant on our system. Outside of that, we don't care. It's not our job.
What if somebody has a similar name to somebody who is also has some type of warrant? Because there can be similarities in names within communities. That happens all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. But there's ways to check that. We have automated fingerprint systems that we can call to the scene and check it. We have ways that we can background check them and see if they had maybe a consulate card or something else, some other documentation showing who they are. If we're 100%, we just don't know who they are, then we would have to book them on new traffic until we find out who they are.
Okay. So, final question for you. What do you want to tell the public about what Houston police officers are doing, your union, what you're standing for when it comes to this community, when it comes to dealing with ICE at this time?
Again, we are not collaborating with ICE. We're not working with ICE. We're dealing with the warrants that we have on hand. That is the only thing we're doing. We don't want our immigrant community fearing law enforcement. We want them to contact us if they're victims of crime. We are going to treat them just like any other citizen we would, because they're still here. They're still victims of a crime, and we want to solve those crimes. If they're victimizing our immigrants, they're also victimizing our citizens. We want those people off the streets.
And first and foremost, your job in law enforcement is to protect and serve this community, correct?
Amen. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right, Doug. Good to see you. As always,
Nice to see you.
appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
breaking this down to explain it to the community, because there are a lot of questions out there,
I
and we
understand.
really appreciate your time. All
Thank
right.
you, ma'am.
All right. Well, we've got a lot more straight ahead after the break.